Hello, everyone, and welcome to Barb Wire Bite Podcast, the video version. This is Doc here, as always, with your host, Pitbull number one, aka Gary Wolf.
What's up, brother?
Both wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, man. Today is Sunday, hungover day.
You looks like you got some sun too yesterday.
Yeah. I go outside a lot. We work out outside. I don't even go to gyms anymore. I have my own gym out back and shit. So it's cool. You know what I mean?
What'd you think? Did you watch? Actually, let me ask you instead of wrestling first. Did you watch the new American Horror Story?
Yeah.
What do you think?
That was awesome. That was awesome, man.
What the fuck are those things, man? Like sun vampires or shit? Or I don't know what they are. They're nasty.
Yeah, they're vampires of some sort. I don't know. I've never seen the way they supposedly they got money and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like they're able to. Especially during the winter, stay in Providence is wicked. You know what I mean? In the summertime, it's jam-packed over there. I don't know. I thought it was fucking crazy, man. Take
that black pill and you like start feeding on people and shit. Now that was cool. I really liked that. Was a good 2 episodes. I really liked that.
Yeah, I always like that when they do the double episodes, one after the other. That's awesome. Yeah. And
it should be a weekly thing.
I love how they always use the same actors. You know what I mean? They play different parts and different stuff. I love that show. Love it.
Did you watch AEW this week?
Yeah, of course.
Let me ask you, because on the other show we have on the channel, the Recapping the Elite, me and cousin Cecil think that Matt Hardy, we think 2 things. He should go back to the Delete because of the way that crowd especially was popping when he was doing it. And if he should maybe start doing more of the cinematic stuff, because he's getting up there in age. And what was that, like his 9th broken nose he had against Cassidy? He tell he's slowing down, but not slowing down enough where he needs to retire. Just maybe needs to start changing his style. What's your take on that?
I don't know how he could have got hurt with Cassidy. That was just we do that all the time. So for him, that was just an accident. You know what I mean? It just happened. But yeah, I noticed he's a little bit slow. I don't know if he's hurt, to be honest with you. He might be working hurt. We have to do that sometimes. But having a match with Cassidy is easy, man. That's fucking cake, man.
When Hardy started doing that, when he reinvented himself years ago and he started in TNA, when he started doing that whole broken gimmick and they filmed them how the matches at his house and they were shooting fireworks at each other. What'd you think? I thought it was kind of cool. What did you think of stuff like that?
I like the idea that they were letting him do what he wanted. You know what I mean? Like he came up with it and it got over. People loved it. That delete shit, and the way he changed his accent and shit like that. It's hilarious, man. But yeah, I do notice, definitely notice in the ring that he's hurting bad on one side of his body, definitely. So, I think he should try to get a faction together and, bring that back and maybe not work as much. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe 6 men, shit like that, tag teams maybe here and there. But, like I said, everybody's at that age, it happens. I'm older than he is. Fuck.
So bye.
Yeah. So, shit.
Are you excited that Jericho's going to fight MJF again?
Yeah, it should be even a better match. You know what I mean? They should have a really good, even though Jericho, like I said, he's getting up there in age too. You know what I'm saying? But he's still hustling and working hard. You know what I mean? I think that's the match to watch. I'm just very confused with what they're doing with Punk and Darby Allin. I don't understand. I just don't get it. It's babyface versus babyface. What are you trying to do with that? You know what I mean? I don't understand. Unless you want to put Darby Allin and Punk's, unless they're, he's already got Sting pushing him to the sky. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Now if they add Darby Allin with Sting behind Punk, maybe they'll, who knows, But I still don't get it. You know what I mean? I mean, if you can go that way, I guess, and it would be successful. But I would have put Punk against the biggest heel you got. You know what I mean? That's me. I mean, and then get Punk over more. I mean, I don't get it. As a booker, I'm very surprised about that. And I'm looking to see what they're going to do with that. That's what.
Well, for me, it's like I like Darby, and Darby, you know, I mean, during the pandemic, he was the face of that company. He carried a lot of good TV matches. I think he's talented. He's young. Yeah, like you said, he's got Sting. He's got the Rocket on the back. But you know, CM Punk, they ain't paying CM Punk all this money to come in and do a job. So I don't want to see Punk lose, but I don't want to see Darby do a job to the guy the first time. I mean, in a perfect world, I could see a draw or running or something. But like you said, Darby should rematch Miro and maybe get Punk. He's so over. Put him against, you know, a heel. You know, I can't say Omega, but you know, stick him in there with somebody that's got some heat on him. I don't agree with it either.
I just don't get it. I mean, yeah, why wouldn't they put him against Mirror? But he's not ready for the strap yet, so he's got to show what he can do. You know what I mean? And that's how it works over there. And I get it. I like that. But putting him against Darby Allin, to me, don't make sense. But
the only thing I can think of is
unless like you said, they're pushing this kid to the sky and they're gonna make Punk do the, you know, Punk might have to do him the favor. You know what I mean? That may be like, hey, look, we're bringing you in, but you're going to do a job first match. I mean, to put Darby Allin higher than he is, yeah, that's great. And you know, they better be ready to. He better be ready to hold that strap.
I think. Let me ask you this, because you know Bret Hart is famous for never wanting to do jobs. A lot of people don't want to do jobs. Do you subscribe to the logic of you don't want to do a job, or do you subscribe to the Al Snow pin me, pay me kind of theory?
Our business is about entertaining people. So if the boss says you're going over or you're going under, that's the way it is. That's it. And I say yes sir, no sir. That's it. End of story. If you're one of them people that say I don't do the job for anybody, nah. Because if I'm gonna go over, I'm still gonna go over. You could say you ain't doing shit, and then I'm gonna say, watch me, and then we'll see. You know what I mean? But in our business, if you're a worker and a promoter, you know, a boss says, look, you got to put him over tonight. Of course, no problem. That's our business. You know, it's not saying I'm still ain't gonna light his chest up with chops. You know the way the business is. I'm gonna walk out 80% of that match is gonna be mine.
A couple of years ago, I was very close. Like I was this far away from promoting a show, and I contacted somebody I know. He works. I'm not gonna give his name. He works for AEW now. I'll tell you off the air. I won't tell you guys on the air. And I say, what would you charge? Where we get along pretty good. What would you charge me to come in? And he gave me a price, and it was as I guarantee is a price better than he's given other people. But at the end, he was like, but if you want me to go do the job to go under, it's going to be $400 more.
Really?
And then I was kind of like, so you're going to give me a good price of like, it was $500, you know, for this guy, trust me, it's good money. But it was like, but if I gotta do the job, it's gonna be $800. So it was like, the fuck, this wouldn't even be televised, or you know. And that's why after dealing with a few more things like that, it was like, this, I'm not dealing with this. This isn't gonna happen. So it never came.
Like a house show. You were just running. It was
just gonna be an indie show. It wasn't gonna be broadcast nowhere. I had a building that was seated 300 people. I could have filled 300, but yeah, it was just gonna be. You know, after that and a few other things, it was like, you know what, I'm going to rethink this. I'm going to find Marks to give me money so I don't have to spend 50 cents of my own cash. This is frustrating.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I've been places where I was at a show and I didn't know what to expect until I got to the show. You know what I mean? And then I find out it's an indie show and it's outside and it's in like, I was in Oakland, California. So I was like in like near San Jose, I guess, that area. And I remember, you know, they wanted me to put the guy over, and I'm just like, I can't put him over. I mean, he's too green. I said, you know what I mean? I said, I'll let him look good. I'm not gonna make him look bad. I said, but nah, because he came up. I knew immediately when I started talking to him that he had no clue what he was doing. So I wasn't giving him my body. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it got to a point where I literally had an open hand slap this motherfucker hard, very, very like shit, at least 6, 7 times, wake his ass up. I mean, that's how bad it was. So at that point, at that show, you know what I mean? I told the guy, no, I can't put him over. I said, even with a manager, I still can't do it. I said, I'll fix something. I'll make him look good, but I can't do it. And the guy understood, because I'm like, come on, man. I mean, look at this situation. You know what I mean? Typical guy that's very green, that's working on a very small show. You know, people bring you in. They can't afford, I mean, they can't afford to pay me, but they find the money anyway. You know, I mean, at first they didn't have my cash. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go to the bar. There's a bar like right there next to the taco stand. So I went in the bar, started watching football games, and the people were cool. They were buying me drinks. They were cool shit. Finally, they're looking for me because I heard them calling me, but I said, I ain't leaving until they come. They'll find me, you know? So they came and found me. All right, everything's cool. Everything's cool. Got the rest of your cash and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, I'll get dressed. So I got dressed. But it was crazy. I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? It was pretty nuts. But that's what's going on nowadays.
Yeah, I know promoters, local promoters. That's why most of them don't last long. One of them had the logic. It was like, now you got to be prepared to lose money on your first 6 shows. It's like, okay, so if your game plan is to lose money for your first 6 shows, you're a goddamn idiot. Your plan should never be to lose money on one show. You know, but it was like, I'm a big fan of, you know, if I say a name, people might get up the bag. It'd be like, man, I'm a big fan of Gary Wolf. I love Gary Wolf. I bet if I give Gary Wolf $5,000 in a first-class hotel room, he'll come and then I can have lunch with him. You know, that was kind of the logic for how they were bringing people in. They weren't bringing in people that were going to necessarily draw, but it was like, I want to bring in this guy because I'd sure like to have pancakes with him in the morning. You know, it was like, okay, well, your gimmick is here to lose money because you're fucking stupid. And I'm not going to fall into that trap.
Yeah, we started doing that at WrestleCade. We would have people that would want to eat breakfast with wrestlers. So, you know, that hotel, man, is hooked up. They have this huge buffet and it's all fucking nice. And yeah, a lot of guys I noticed were doing it, especially with Terry Funk and, you know, guys that they knew, you know, look, let's get the fans, you know, let's get to know this guy now, you know what I mean, before, God forbid, something happens or whatever, you know what I mean? Jake the Snake was there one day. I met him at one of the signings before. He looked really good, man. I got to give Jake some props, man, because I've been in the ring with him. I've worked with him many times, and he's back like to normal. You know what I mean? He wasn't what he was at one point. You know, I was in those dark days of his. I've seen him, you know, how it was. So he looked really good, and I'm very happy for him. I got to say that.
Now, when you this makes something I'd always want to know. We've talked about, not just us, the whole world. ACW fans were the best fans in the world, and the fans had fans. Like we mentioned, a hat guy, and sign guy, and hair guy, dreadlock guy, all these people. Now, how did you guys? Because I'm sure all you guys there got to know a lot of these regular fans. Did they get to hang out backstage, or did you guys just hang out at like hotels? Or because I'm sure there had to be some kind of connection there, especially with people like the hat guy, you know, your famous guys.
Yeah, he would hang at the hotel with us and stuff like that. You know, he'd always be at the bar. You know what I mean? Those guys, I'll just give you the perfect example for me. You know what I mean? me and my partner, when we would go in a match and wrestle somebody, I always want to get the crowd involved as much as I possibly can. So knowing that they're one of our biggest fans, we always went to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a chair. He's going to hand me a chair. You know what I mean? Give me a beer. He'll hand me a beer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, give me something. You know what I mean? One time a guy took his fucking leg off. He had a prosthetic leg. And he literally unsnapped it and gave it to him, and he handed it to me. And I was just like, whoa, man. Fuck. Like, this looked like it was worth a lot of money. You know what I mean? I was like, I can't fuck this up. So I set the spot up. I nailed him with a guy, you know, got the pop, and I made sure I handed it right back to him. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was good. They never hung in our dressing room. You're not, you can't be in our locker room if you're not a worker for the company, unless you're a worker and we invite you in our locker room. That's how ECW was.
I noticed there was one fan. I don't know his name. He seemed to be a big fan of Cactus when he was over there. He was on crutches. I can't remember his name. And Cactus would always take one of this kid's crutches, and he'd always hit somebody with it. And I heard once that he actually even gave the kid didn't have a ride to the arena one day, and he actually stopped at his house and picked him up and everything. That you don't hear things like that often.
Dude, I'll give you an example. Okay, this is how cool we are. I remember it was this kid, and he was handicapped, and he had to have a cane or crutches, or he went from crutches to a cane, but he was even in a wheelchair at one time. Okay, and he just wanted to be part of the business. You know what I mean? And we were just like, well, how are we going to do this? You know, and at the time, I had my own school. I had the Animal House, which pull down, you can check it out. Animal House. That's where most of our 3PW people came from. But Pro Wrestling Unplugged also. But yeah, the handicapped kid was cool, man. He was cool as hell. So we ended up nicknaming him Triple H instead of Triple H. He was called Triple H. And I remember shows where we would set him up, and I would actually give him a mafia kick right to the face, right to the jaw. And he would just fly right off the back. I mean, he would take the bump on the wheelchair. And he loved it. And the people would just go crazy because they're just like, oh my God, you kicked the guy in a wheelchair. So I haven't seen him in years and years. Next thing you know, we're doing the hardcore thing with Shane Douglas, and he invites me to do the show. So I show up, I'm supposed to wrestle Raven, but Raven's shoulder's messed up, so he don't want to work, and blah, blah, blah. Next thing I know, I'm with Jimmy Jack Cash from New York, which I got to give him a shout out because he was in there with me, plus like 3 other dudes, and this guy, Triple H. So what happened was, instead of Raven wrestling me in front of 3,500 people, I gotta say, we had a nice house. I mean, I was ready to rock and roll, but Raven didn't want to work. So he came out, cut a promo, and next thing you know, it's me versus 3 guys and a crippled guy, you know, playing, you know, Triple H, whatever. Next thing you know, the match turned out really good due to the fact, you know, we had the Sandman come in, you know, they hit the music, you know, I did the wrestling, boom, boom, boom. Jimmy Jack Cash in New York, heads up to him, great worker, pulled it off for me, made me look like a star. And then it's just me and Triple H standing there. And he's, you know, he's on his cane. You can tell all his weight's on that cane. And I'm just like, and you can get the video of this, the DVD of this, and you can check it out, man. It was great. I just kicked the cane right out from the motherfucker. He took a fucking stone cold face bump, man. And it was all, I mean, the people were just like, oh, you know what I mean? But it was awesome. But he could take it, and that's what he wanted to do. And I made him happy, and we always kept him involved. And that was just something we always did.
I remember, like, Hat Guy, when the Public Enemy were straight up heels, and the Hat Guy, whatever, he'd be out there and he'd be, fuck you and all that. He'd get on him. Rocco would always take the guy's hat off and just start beating him with it. Then when they kind of became more over, kind of more of a face role, and the Hat Guy, then now he's, you know, he's cheering him and everything. They take the hat and put it on, and they dance with him and everything. And you don't really see that kind of interaction anymore. That was always cool.
That was what made ECW special, man. You know what I mean? We were in that fucking bingo. We were in that 2300 building. You know what I mean? We jam packed it. We put as many people as we possibly can get in there. I mean, we were standing room only. I mean, believe me, we were over the code. Some of them shows. I mean, shit, man. We had loyal fans. It's a shame we weren't. If we had a bigger building, we would have sold it out. I think personally, especially in Philadelphia at the time. I mean, you just pull. I mean, many fans out there that are listening and watching. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You'd pull up to that building like, hey, man, I'm getting, in that wrestling show, and what the fuck, man? It's wrapped around the whole entire block. That's how many people are waiting to get in there, So it was good that Hat Guy and all those other guys, Sign Guy, who became part of ECW. Tell me that ain't crazy. Wasn't he just a sign guy out there? And they pulled him over, and I think they offered him a job, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, when ECW closed, because the final show was not at an arena, it was just, I don't even remember where it was, just somewhere in bumfuck. It just happened to be filmed. It was the last show. Nobody knew.
Was it in Milwaukee or something like that? Some out there place?
And everybody, do you think all the regulars, the fans that have been there from the beginning, how do you think they felt? Do you think it was kind of like, fuck, he couldn't come back, and by he, I mean Heyman, couldn't come back and do one show in the fucking arena, like a goodbye show or something? I mean, when it ended, there was no money to do one more show there?
Dude, they should did one more show there. I would have said, yeah. I mean, me and my girl ran a show at the arena for Wrestling with Disaster. We were part of that little thing. And we ran a hell of a show. I mean, we had guys like Too Cold Scorpio, Sabu, Wild Samoans, the fucking younger Samoans. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the Samoans were there. Shane Douglas was there. Jimmy Snuka was there. God bless his soul when he was alive. And at the time we were going against, I think it was the death match, and fans, I guess, wanted to see that more. I mean, we had a nice house. We had a great show. And everybody got to hang out with all the talent, drink with all the talent. It was like an open bar. It was cool. We had like an after party there. Barbarian, Warlord, they were on the show. A lot of Monster Factory guys were on the show. It was good. It was a good fucking deal. But yeah, I mean, especially if it was like, all right, ECW's done. We're going to do one more sellout, kick-ass show at the arena. And they should have did that. And that would have, at least it would have brought could have been a nice DVD to make and sell, and who knows? You know what I mean? But I guess Vince would have made money off of that. So.
I mean, even anything. I mean, I just remember it was like, because the internet was still kind of young back then, and you're reading like, there's and it was obviously this is ECW's last show as Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman came out with everybody, and they had drinks, and the pay-per-view is not scheduled anymore, and all that, and it was like. Yeah, the company that revolutionized everything fucking ended in a town probably where they'd never been. Couldn't get, like you said, one arena show. You could have filmed it. Everybody could have got a nice little payday off of that DVD. The final ECW show in the arena. I mean, it would have made a lot of money.
I actually saw something on Facebook. I'm not going to say exactly what it said. I don't remember it word for word. But it said something about Shane McMahon wanting to do something in 2006 where he was going to take ECW on the road and fly with that company. That's what it kind of said. And I was just like, oh my God, like, hell yeah, he would have did that. I mean, I remember seeing him at the one night stand. I mean, Shane was he was psyched. Like to him, I think I wouldn't doubt that Daddy promised him, "You're gonna get ECW, and that's gonna be your baby. You're gonna take that on the road, and we're gonna get that up. We're going to get that ratings up, and we're going to make more money. And we're going to do more, T-shirts and all that stuff that makes cash, and let's do it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he was kind of saying. That's how it was planned. But then I think Vince changed his mind on him, possibly. But when I was reading it, I was just like, man, if that's what would have happened, that would have been fantastic. It would have been great. Because we were all ready to work. We all looked good. No bullshit, even though we had a lot of losses in between those years when they showed up. When we showed up at the Lost Battalion over there in New York, no bullshit. Everybody was suited up. Everybody was respectful. Everybody looked great. Nobody was out of shape. I mean, I think most of the guys knew that they had to prove something that night to WWF and show them we work our asses off. We don't work like you guys do, even though we can. It's just not our style. You know what I mean? But now, guess what? Attitude era comes. Now you have to work like we do. Get used to it, man. Wrestling ain't easy. We made it harder. So why do you think Edge, Christian, the Hardy Boys, some guys retired early, some guys haven't retired yet, but they're crippled, man. Hardys are crippled. Them guys did some brutal shit. I mean, working with the Dudleys probably helped them a little bit. Long as Bubba, he'll take care of you. He's big enough, man. You know what I mean? He'll catch you, no problem. Devon, absolutely. Never had a problem with Devon. But that attitude there, them boys had to work, man. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I still go back and watch the old WWF stuff. Man, I see guys like the Rockers broke some dude's neck.
Yeah.
Another tag team broke another guy's neck. I was just like, holy shit, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like the Heavenly Bodies. Yeah, they broke a guy's neck. I was just like, what the hell was happening?
I didn't like when they did. I mean, if I said I wasn't a little excited for the ECW relaunch, I'd be lying. But once I saw, and now here comes the big show. Here comes Kurt Angle's. Like it was dead in the water. But what I thought fucked it was when they did the invasion, and when it first started, and they had Shane McMahon with the few people that they couldn't, buy out of contracts. WCW. Then I remember, here's the Dudleys are in the ring now, and I believe Taz was in the ring, and then Rob Van Dam and Tommy Dreamer, they're coming out of the crowd, and it was like, and Paul Heyman gets in the ring, and it was like, all right, here we've just done 10 months of storylines in 5 minutes, but it was like, all right, here we go, ECW, and then he went, and may I present the new owner of ECW, Stephanie McMahon. I was like, oh boy, and here we go, just another fucking McMahon angle, and to me, that's what just killed it, right? That was the dumbest shit to have her anything to do with it.
Honestly, what I read, I believe, because Shane dug us. I mean, he was one of us. He was cool, So I think it was planned where, because they had an A card, a B card, a C card, but at that point, I don't think they did, but they just bought WCW and they got ECW. I mean, to me, I would have kept WCW going as WCW and not said nothing. Same with ECW. I would have and just kept my mouth shut and just worked everybody and just kept making the money for us. Yeah, people would have started getting, why does your merchandise look so good all of a sudden? You know what I'm saying? So, of course, but that's what I would have done. You know what I mean? I would have been like, shit. I still want that feud, Monday Night Wars. That made money for everybody. And if he owned both companies, come on. How could you go wrong? How can you go wrong? He lost so many fans, I think, personally, when he was the only man that had the show was WWE at one point. You know what I mean? Ring of Honor, I know all those other companies were out there. The only company I think that could even stand next to him would be New Japan. You know what I mean? Which I used to watch all the time on Access. I don't know. It doesn't come on anymore unless it still does. I don't know.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's awesome. It's all fucking good work, man. Good matches. No bullshit. But I don't know. Like I said, I think Shane would have took it and he would have made money. He would have made money because we were over. He just would have brought it to the next level because we would have had better production, better everything. Do you see what I'm saying? You know, and you think our talent back then got us over. Imagine with, you know, them backing us. Shit.
The Attitude Era, I've always said that was ECW with the budget.
And that would have, honestly, it would have helped Vince because we would have brought the Attitude out. We would have been the Attitude Company, the ECW company. He could have kept WWE the same as it was in the 80s. He didn't have to turn it Attitude Era if he would have kept ECW, you know, plus he would have had WCW going against him anyway, you know, and then we're out there in the middle going against both companies. You see what I'm saying? So in his mind, in fans' mind, they're going to pick what company they want to watch, but Vince could have sat back laughing and saying, I own all three of them, you morons, you know what I mean? But he didn't do that. I would have did that, personally.
I'm going to ask you that, and I wrote it down because I'm old and I forget. And I'm gonna give a theory at the end, but I'm not going to give that theory yet. Now, you worked, and we're talking about over and everything. You worked with Mike Awesome. Now, what people don't know about Mike Awesome is Mike Awesome was over. He is the longest reigning FMW heavyweight champion ever. He had the FMW tag titles. He was the man over there. He was the gladiator, brass knuckle titles and everything. Came over to ECW, on fire, went back to FMW, came back to ECW, won the title. Guy was a fucking 300-pound luchador. He was a fucking powerhouse that could fly. WCW wanted, which to me was, I understand why you want a guy with that talent, but they kind of wanted him. Well, let's get a surprise. He's the ECW champ. He'll run in. Nobody knew who the fuck he was when he ran in. That was bad. But then after the whole shenanigan where they had Paul Heyman had, my opinion, is a fucking nail in the coffin. We'll have a WWF guy, Taz, beat a WCW guy, Awesome. In the ECW ring, stupid 30-second match. Awesome got up. But Awesome, when he was in WCW, he never got over. He was the fat chick thriller. That's a gimmick he stole from me. He was the 70s guy. He never got over. And this is what I'm trying to think. What a lot of people don't know. I want your opinion on this because you know how good a worker he was. Vince Russo was the booker when they brought in Mike Awesome. Now, Mike Awesome, what a lot of people don't know, that's Horace Hogan's cousin. That makes Mike Awesome related in one form or another to Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. Vince Russo had heat with Hulk Hogan. Do you think it was one of them cases, my opinion with Awesome, because he was so talented, he never got over? Do you think it was, yeah, you know, I got heat with this Hogan guy, Mike Awesome's could be related to him, fuck him too? Do you think that could have, because how do you not push a guy of that size that could move like he did?
Listen, I saw the guys that worked for Vince jaws hit the ground, okay? When him and Tanaka blew the fucking roof off the building. You're telling me, let me tell you something. If they pushed him in WCW, he would have been the champ. It would have been him and fucking Goldberg going back and forth. Why wouldn't you build that up? You know what I'm saying? He's the fucking gladiator, man. You know what I'm saying? Horrible booking. So either they did it on purpose, which they must have done it on purpose. It doesn't make any sense to me otherwise. I mean, other than that, you know, it's stupid. You know what I mean? It was stupid booking. He could hold the belt anywhere with no problem whatsoever. He was a good dude. I remember the last time I was with him was the one night stand. We were at the same hotel. I was shooting shit with him. We actually had a couple drinks. I think it was me, Mikey, and him, and a couple other guys. And yeah, that was like the last time I talked to him. And he was amazing talent, man. Amazing talent. And I'm just like, this guy, I don't understand why Vince doesn't want him. It doesn't make any sense. He's big. He's a he looks like a wrestler, and he could do shit like a fucking little kid does now. You know what I'm saying? A little guy does now. He could do as a big man. You know, he was 6'6", 6'7", jumping from the apron to the top rope springboard and doing that kind of shit before anybody else little was. You know what I'm saying? He was. I mean, you think about it.
What do you think of when they had that idea to bring Taz in to take the belt from him? What did you think? I thought it was stupid.
No. That was a whole fucking kibosh because fucking he left the company and took the heavyweight title with him and went to WCW. Everybody was losing their shit. I remember because I was in the locker room. And I don't know, did he come back to ECW and then won the belt off of Taz?
Well, he came back so he could drop the belt. And what made no sense is he said many times, put me in the ring with Tanaka, put me in the ring with Rhino, you know, all his friends. He's like, I'll give you a 30-minute match. I'll lose the belt. I don't have a problem. But when Taz came in, you know, Austin wasn't in the locker room. He came through the crowd. Taz came in. I'm sorry. You could promote Taz all you want. That match, that was an infant against a grown man. You know, a 2-minute match. Taz choked him out. And then I remember when it was, you know, Austin got up. He was just like, and he left, you know, killed that dead. But why didn't they just bring him in, have a match? I mean, he was there. He said he would. I mean, I know you can't always take somebody on their word, but I mean, fuck, you didn't have that belt with them on TV. I mean, you got to go where the money is. You're in the job to get paid.
Because the whole deal was getting Taz over. Paul wanted to get Taz over. So the only way he can get him, look, he had Taz beat my partner with me in the corner on a pay-per-view in a 2-minute match. Okay? He called me every night before that pay-per-view weekend. You know what I mean? Every single night. You know, what are we doing? You know, I'm like, you know what we're doing more than I do. You're in New York. Paul's in New York. Oh, okay. You know, every night something else. You know, finally he's like, I don't know if it's going to be 20 minutes. I don't know if it's going to be 2 minutes. I said, listen, man, I'll be honest with you. I don't care. I said, I get paid the same. It don't matter to me. It's no difference to me. But he was all panicking and stuff. But I mean, I get it. You know, I mean, Mike Awesome honestly could have beat his ass on live television. You know, was that a pay-per-view they did that?
Oh, it was a fucking house show. I mean, they did.
Yeah.
That's what didn't make no sense.
Yeah, see, we worked Taz in a pay-per-view, and he was all nervous because he thought we were pissed off and shit. It doesn't work like that. You know, we had no heat. There was no problem. Not with him anyway. You know, it had nothing to do with him. So, but yeah, that Awesome thing, all it was to push Taz, give him a bigger push, you know. But they don't show you the old matches when Taz was the Tasmanian Devil. They don't go back and show you what he did and who beat him and when they beat him and how easy they beat him. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, they got him so over that he was able to walk in Vince's office and say, look, I'm fucking, knowing him, he said, listen, I'm Taz, Mr.
I'm the human suplex machine.
I'm a human suplex machine. I'm the #1 guy in ECW. You should hire me as I wear his orange. You know what I mean? And that's what he did. And I look, I give him balls and I give him props, man. He wants, you know, he's got a family, he's got to make his living. You know, he didn't know what was going to happen. You know what I mean? As far as ECW, he was just trying to watch his back. He didn't know what was going on. I don't think anybody wanted him in WCW, I'll be honest with you. So he got in there and he did what he had to do. You know what I mean? He didn't impress Vince McMahon, put it that way. So that's why they put him in commentary right away. And I think they were going to let him go. And then what was it? The MTV that was involved in them doing the Tough Enough and all that crap. That saved his job. You know, so he stayed there a while. So I wanted to ask you a question. You've been watching AEW. Now he does the Taz gimmick. He comes out with the FTW belt. Is that his son that is out there with him?
Yeah, that kid with the weird hair hook. Yeah, that's his kid. He doesn't ever work. He just stands there, you know, but yeah, that's his son.
I noticed that. I noticed Billy Gunn's got both his sons there.
Yeah, they actually wrestle.
Yeah, I saw that. The Gun Club. Yeah, dude, Billy looks great.
Oh God, yeah, looks like $1 million bucks. He always has.
He always has. But come on, bro. What's up with these kids? Look at Billy Gunn. How old is he? How old do you think he is?
Oh, he's got to be in his upper 50s. Easy.
I'm 54. I think he's older than me. He's got to be older than me. Most of them guys are.
Let's find out.
You know what I mean? And I seen him. He looks fucking fantastic.
Billy
But
Gunn.
I would say get in the damn gym, boy. You know?
Billy Gunn is an American professional wrestler. He's 57 years old.
He's got 3 years on me. Okay. That's not much at all. But he looks fantastic, bro. I seen him at WrestleCade before the pandemic when we were rocking and rolling and busy. He looked great. You know what I mean? A matter of fact, he looks better than these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks in better shape than half the locker room over there. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that just goes to show you, you know, look at him. He's still in great shape. He can still work. There's no excuse, you know. I'm tired of looking at baby boys' bodies, not men's bodies, not a man's body. You know what I mean? Look the part. You know, look at the factory. That guy, he's all hair. I forget his name. He's got a big ass long hair.
Yeah, in QT Marshall's game.
Yeah, QT's my boy.
I like
He's
QT.
a factory guy. He's a Monster Factory guy, man. They all were there. Matt Riddle was there. Priest was there. I remember Priest was going to quit. He wanted to give up the business. I said, are you fucking crazy? I said, look how tall you are, man. I said, you're good looking. You're Spanish. I said, you got a good build. I said, you get a little bit bigger, get your promos down. Next thing you know, look at him now. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to quit. I was like, no fucking way, man. I said, if anybody's got a chance here, you do. I can tell. You know what I'm saying? You just got to keep pushing. You know what I mean? And he did. And I'm happy for Riddle. He pushed his ass off too at the factory. Look at Sheamus. He's still there. You know what I'm saying? So regardless, I mean, shit, man. These guys, like I said, man, we train, man. The Monster Factory now, I mean, it has a full gym in that place now. It ain't no joke, you know. Anybody out there looking for a school, man, you gotta, I always plug the Monster Factory. Especially now, I wish they had the weights there that they had back in the day now, you know what I mean? Shit. I used to have to go to the gym before I would go to the Monster Factory, you know. So I would get up 4 days a week. I'd get up at 6 a.m., go to work, deliver appliances with my boy, which is refrigerators, washers, dryers. So I'm lifting all day. We would hustle our asses off, be done by 12 o'clock. Park my truck. We made our money for the day. We worked for Silo. Most people don't even remember what that was. It was like a Famous Days of today. You know what I'm saying? Or American Appliance of today. You know, but it was called Silo. So we delivered appliances. So we would lift all day. Next thing you know, I'd go to the gym, go home, eat dinner, drive 35, 40 minutes to the Monster Factory. So luckily I wasn't that far. And then I would train there for 3-4 hours and then go home and do everything all over again. So I got at least 4 days in the school a week. And then on the weekends we had off. And if we didn't have off, we would be at shows, trying to work shows, trying to get jobs on shows, you know, putting rings together, paying our dues.
Why do you think some promoters, like, I'll single them out as we're talking AEW, Tony Khan. You got all these guys, and they got talent there, but like you said, I'm a mark for Orange Cassidy. If I ran into Orange Cassidy, I wouldn't know what the fuck it was him. He's a 175-pound guy, nothing special about his look. Here's another one, Darby. I love Darby. 160 pounds. When I maybe recognize him because he's got a big bone tattoo on his arm. You know, a lot of these guys, you know, and I've mentioned it to my kid. It's like, so if you ran into this guy, are you going to know who he is? Well, no. Were you going to know who this guy is? None of these guys. I mean, you got some guys. You got Wardlow, Spears. You got some guys that are big, but like MJF, normal looking. All these guys look normal. Some of them don't look like they tan. Some of them spray tan. They look fucking orange, which looks even dumber. But why don't, if you were a promoter, wouldn't you be like, look, you're A+ talent on the mic, A+ talent in the ring. Go to the goddamn gym, go to a tanning bed when you're done, get in shape. Larger than life is the persona.
What I noticed is, what I've always known in this business, there's workers and then there's guys that are gimmicks. Okay. It's just a gimmick. You know what I mean? Orange Cassidy, he's a gimmick. Okay. He can work his ass off if he wants to wrestle and do whatever he wants to do. It's amazing what he can do with his hands in his pockets and shit like that. But he's a gimmick. Those little kicks, the ooh, the ah, that's a gimmick. You know what I mean? Same thing with Darby Allin. He's a skateboarder. He's skinny. He's from Seattle. You know, he had his problems like everybody else did. You know what I'm saying? But he's got Sting in his corner pushing him. You know what I'm saying? His gimmick is over with kids. I mean, I see little kids dressed up like Orange Cassidy. I see little kids dressed up like Darby Allin. I mean, that's what Vince McMahon used to always do, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what I used to see in Vince McMahon's crowd, is those kids dressed up as, you know, Hulk Hogan, or dressed up as the Ultimate Warrior, or, you know what I mean? Shit like that. It's a gimmick, you know? So some of these guys don't have to be big. You know what I mean? Like the Young Bucks. I'll give you an example. They're a great tag team, okay? They don't have to be big, because what they do, if they were big, they wouldn't be able to do half the stuff they do. So for them, in their best interests, yeah, it would be definitely to stay same size they are, so they could do what they do best, and that's wrestle. You know what I mean? And not kill anybody, because they do some crazy shit. You know what I mean? Kenny Omega. I mean, now he's got what, 4 belts after, well, Christian took 2 of them.
Yeah.
You know, which he'll probably and should get back. Is a fucking great worker. You know what I mean? He's in shape. He takes very good care of himself. When you look at his body, he's in great shape. He could carry that strap. Cody can carry that strap. Fucking Warlow can carry that strap. You know, there's a lot of guys that are there that are built, but then you got your MJF, whatever, you know, he's another one who, he's lucky, he's gimmick. His gimmick is his mouth. You know, he can't keep it shut, which is great, because that pisses people off. You know what I mean? Just like you were talking about before with Vicky Guerrero. You know, her screaming and yelling, that's what she does, makes people sick, and that's exactly what they pay her for. You know, so, I mean, MJF could sit there with his pinky ring and keep working, keep working this great angle where Jericho's pushing him to the sky. You know what I mean? Because he can cut good promos. You know what I mean? So I guess you don't have to really hit the gym as hard, you know, but I would. I don't know why these guys. I mean, if I was on TV, I mean, I trained hard now. I mean, I would train as hard as I train right now if I was on television. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, if I'm on TV, fuck, I want to look the best I can. You know, that's what was always taught to me, and that's how I feel, and that's it. That's the way I think it should be.
I mean, we're filming a show for YouTube, and now I'm up every day at 5 a.m. training to get back in better shape, tanning and everything. For this, if I was on national TV, my God, I'd be mainlining Diet Coke and not eating or something. I mean, I wouldn't want to look like a guy that buys a ticket. I guess that's always been my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, like I said, just the business changed, and I guess the guys wanted to do more wild moves, and, you know, to do some of them moves, you can't be, you know what I mean, a big guy. I mean, but I've seen big men do it. Like, I've been in Japan. I saw TNT, Salvio Vega, you know, hit you with a spin kick, go over the rope backwards and land on his feet on the ground. Okay, and he was almost 300 pounds, and he could do that. You know, he taught my partner that. That was one of my partner's signature moves, which he got from TNT, Salvio Vega, when we were in Japan, New Japan. And I couldn't, I was just like, yeah, I remember Anthony pulled him aside and said, man, could you show me how to do that? And that's how cool the guys were back then. They were like, sure, man, no problem. Because we were in Tokyo. I mean, we had people from Germany, Mexico, Puerto Rico, America, plus the Tokyo guys. You know what I mean? All over the world. You know what I mean, guys? I remember this huge black guy was in the bus with us. He actually wrestled a living bear, like a live bear. He wrestled and he had on videotape because people didn't believe him, and he would show the tape, and it was crazy, man. Like the bear would pick him up and throw him, but he would fight him, man. He would wrestle him. He would try to choke the bear out. I mean, it was crazy, man. The balls this guy had. So it was pretty wicked going to Japan back in the early 1990. You know, flying. The bees were there, the killer bees. The Samoans were there. Vader was there. Bigelow was with us. Shit, that's when I first met. I mean, I knew Rodney, but that was the first time I was in Japan with Rodney. You know, Yokozuna, and good friend of mine, great guy. Whole Samoan family are beautiful people, awesome people.
Now they were all you had all the tough guys back when you wrestled, and all like I said, you had one guy, you know, he's wrestling a bear. What do you think now? It's mostly indie stuff. It hasn't made its way to TV. What do you think of these guys? You know, like Chikara, Gorilla, where they do the bit where Pitbull one's going to fight the Invisible Man, and you just have a match where you're going like against air, or another bit where somebody would go like, and he throw a fake grenade, and everybody go, oh, and they bump and all that. What do you think of stuff like that? Do you think it's shit? Do you think expose it, or do you think there needs to be comedy and something funny?
There always needed to be something funny, but we used to use small people. I'm gonna watch my words, the way I say things.
Little people,
man, they were cool, you know. Shit, give me a case of beer, I'll do something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I put King Kong Bundy versus Jake so-and-so with his valet, with special guest referee midget so-and-so. Okay, that'd be my like popcorn match. Like right after intermission, you know, that's the match people are laughing at. They're still getting their drinks or whatever before they get back to their seats. You know, it's a comic match. You know what I mean? You want something funny, you know, referee counts and it's a midget and they throw him off, and it's so many different things you could do. I remember Bundy, he was hilarious. He's like, all right, yeah, I got to get in and out of here, man. I got double shot. And I'm just like, all right, no problem.
Well, let's say you and I are working a match, and I did the bit where I was like, and I threw a grenade at you. Would you sell it, or would you be like, you stupid motherfucker? I mean, what do you think? I think stuff like that is to the point of dumb.
I personally would have everybody else sell it but me, and then I would clothesline and take your fucking head off. That's what I would do. That's just me. But yeah, that just like ruined kayfabe and just exposed the business so bad. I mean, you had that one guy, Joey Janela, used to pour shit down his tights and shit and have people.
No, that was Ryan.
Or Ryan, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. That made me like uncomfortable, because if he told me to grab his fucking sack and sell it or whatever, I would have been like, all right, no problem, man, no problem. And then you would have read about it all over the sheets the next day. And as I grabbed his cock and held it in my hand and his balls were crushed, I was punching him in the fucking face as hard as I could and said, this ain't the business, man. Like, this is stupid, you know? And people are like in a row. I said, like, I saw like 10 people in a row do it.
Yeah, and he'll just go like 1, 2, and then go like that. Everybody goes flying.
That's when everything started getting sickening. That's when everything started getting sickening in the business, man. And I'm not going to lie to you. I had 3 schools, okay? I had one when we were in ECW. I had a couple afterwards or before. All I know is I had a guy come in, and I remember I walked in the school, and he was already in the ring, and he was pretending to wrestle an invisible man. Okay, and this is like, you know, 90s, early mid 90s, you know, easily. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he told me what he was doing. I said, get the fuck out of my school, man. I don't ever want to see that again. Like, this happened way before it got over. It happened to me. I seen it. What am I? First of all, I thought it was the stupidest thing I ever seen. And now I see people popping for it. So don't say I was stupid because I didn't see something. It's just that I was taught a different way about our business, and I respect our business. I think that disrespects our business.
Now, see, I like the way it's acknowledged. I think why I like the Orange Cassidy gimmick so much, like when he does those little, 1, 2, 3 little kicks, then he step backs and
That's a gimmick.
I like it because no one's selling it. They're just looking at him like, and I remember John Silver. I love John Silver in AEW from the Dark Order. And he's doing it to Cassidy, and he just looks at him. He goes, "It doesn't hurt." I like that. Because if he did that little super kick on your shin and you went flying 10 feet, I would probably click. I couldn't watch it. It'd be too stupid.
Yeah. But no, the way he did it and the way they figured out how to do it and the way that you should react to the way he does it to you is now changed. So now, it's understood. He's over. That's his gimmick. Like I said, that's a gimmick. That's all. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's like we would give that to guys back in the day that didn't really know how to wrestle, that couldn't wrestle that well. And we would tell them, all right, do this, do that, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Because we knew what he could do. That's all. That's a gimmick because he's really not a good wrestler. But the gimmick is so over. Just go out there and do what you do, and that's it. Don't do nothing else. Back in the day, that's how it was.
Now, you mentioned him earlier with gimmick, and I'm going to tell you, now, I wasn't a kid. I was in my 20s, upper 20s, and I had already had a lot of judo experience. So I was a Taz mark. I bought into the fact this guy is the baddest man on the planet. Now, what did you guys all think of that gimmick? Because here you all knew him. I'm bigger than Taz. Taz's not an imposing man, but I thought the way he was booked, which had to be a 100% gimmick. I'm watching him. He chokes out 911 in a couple seconds. Al was a big motherfucker. Paul Varlin's he beats, but I've heard that was because Missy Hyatt offered to blow him or something like that. I don't know if that's true, but here's this guy, and he's now you find out he's 100% gimmick. He's not a tough guy. I mean, how did that work? How did they pick and make him such a gimmick tough guy that everybody bought into?
Because he was he was never mean to me. I'm gonna definitely say that. But I mean, there were some guys told me some really strange stories that he would be extremely mean to them, and I would be like, I don't understand. Like, he's not that way to me. I mean, I didn't realize he was that way. I'm not going to mention names, but I remember somebody had told me that he would tell this one person, like, I want to kill you tonight. Like, I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck, man? Seriously? Like, first of all, you're in Philadelphia, and if that's going to happen to anybody, you ain't the one that's going to do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're a New Yorker, so forget about it. But yeah, I heard he used to be really mean. He is a good judo guy, and he does have really nice suplexes. I mean, when I worked an angle with him when he was the Tasmaniac, and then I worked an angle with him when he was Taz. And that's when I had the TV strap and I dropped it to Mikey because Taz interrupted the match, cost me my match. I lost the TV strap. So then I started the new angle with Taz as Taz. First time I did an angle with him, I beat him 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the ring. Over. They were building me up to put the TV title on me at the time. So the new Taz, I had no problem working because we had worked together before, and it was easy. But then he started doing this one, half arm suplex, I think it was a half Nelson suplex. And, I'd go with it, of course, but he still couldn't get me over. And I'm only 5'9", I'm still taller than he is. So I'm always landing like this, you know what I mean? On my arms and my forearms and shit. And I'm like, look, enough's enough, Now I remember I was in the locker room the one night and we were all hanging out in the back and we were all lined up. I don't know. We've never really done that before. So I really didn't get it. But Paul was just going over the whole show and how's it going to be and blah, blah, blah. By the time he got down to me and Taz, he's like, all right, same thing, you guys, you know, whatever you did, whatever. Same thing, same finish. No. That's all you heard. You heard silence and then me go, no. And then there was a hush because I said no to Taz. Nobody says no to Taz. I said, nah, man, it ain't happening. Not that fucking finish. Tired of it. I already broke my fucking neck, and now you're fucking throwing me on my neck. I said, even if I jump, you can't get me over. Okay? Change it. End the fucking story. And I said it just like that, walked away. It's his job, ain't my job. But you put me in that fucking House Nelson motherfucker, it's over. It ain't happening. So that's when he came up with his finishing tap out, choke, whatever it was called.
Hatahajime.
Yes, he came up with that, and that's what he started using. And he honestly thought in his mind that he'd be able to beat up 911. Do you believe that?
No, not for a second. I don't know 911. I wouldn't fight 911. That's a legitimate monster of a human being.
We're getting low on time, so I'm going to make this real short. 911 ain't no regular guy that goes in the gym and works out. He's a farm boy, okay? He's a 6'8", 6'9", 400 plus pounds of fucking muscle, okay? Because he works on a farm. He picks up refrigerators and tosses them. You know what I'm saying? Like he could jump on a bench and he don't even have to work out, not even warm up and put 500 pounds on him. He will put that up easily. Okay, that's the kind of power this man has. And when back in the day when Taz was saying, I'm going to kick his ass, I'm like, are you insane, bro? Like me, I'd have to shoot him, okay? That's how big and strong he is. I'm not going to fight him. I'm not stupid. I said, dude, he'll fucking flick you off like a mosquito off his arm. If you grabbed his arm, he would just like flick you in the head and you'd fall. I don't think you understand how powerful this person is. You know what I'm saying? It just got out of hand for a little while. And that's why I'll end it with this. When Rob Van Dam said, pick a hand, nobody picked a hand. And when Rob says that, that means you're going to get smacked by one of them. You know what I'm saying? Now, for Rob, the coolest motherfucker out there, to say that to somebody had to be a mean person with a bunch of people. You know what I mean? At the time. I think the gimmick was going to his head. But with that, what do you think, Doc?
I think that was good. Not as long as last week, but still pretty long. I think that was a good show. I got some. Can I give a tease real quick? Next week, I'm going to ask you a couple questions about Sonny.
Oh, shit. Ask away. Ask away, man. Ask away.
Well, with that, I want to thank everybody for joining Pitbull #1 again this week. I hope you guys are liking the videos. Please click like. Please subscribe. It helps us out. You know,
Yeah.
thank you guys. You know, we blew up with Francine at her expense, so to speak.
Thanks,
this week.
Brady.
Thank you very much.
She knows,
You know,
she knows I love her, so it's all good.
I don't know her, but I like her too. You know, she's sweet to me.
Yes. Very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much.